everybody. Oh, sorry. Everybody.
Hi,
I'm Ella.
hi, Ella. I think Kat might do that. I think she does that better.
Yes, she does. We have a cat that will be on with us today, but not the cat. We have a lovely friend of mine, actress by the name of Catherine Damish, that'll be joining us. She's helping me review The Bad Batch week to week. The first two reviews will be going up tomorrow, and
like
then we'll have them.
Go ahead.
I was saying, and then after that, every Friday after that, we're going to have Bad Batch reviews every Friday from here on out. So
Awesome. Every time I see The Bad Batch on the Disney Plus header, I think it says The Bad Bitch. I get really confused.
Yes, the baddest bitch.
On Disney Plus.
Yeah. How you doing, Steph?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired.
I feel you.
You know, we've been off a couple weeks because I had some personal family stuff that I've needed to attend to, as people know. But then also simultaneously, in the middle of a Kickstarter for my first three actually children's books, that will be tie-ins to the television show that I'm producing, Every Day with Ella. Yeah, and so because my mind has been on that a lot lately, and then also I just watched the series finale of Ducktales, the rebooted version of Ducktales, which is, and I love the original Ducktales, but like far superior to the original.
Really good. And I mean David Tennant, so
David Tennant, Catherine Tate, Danny Pudi, Bobby Moynihan, Beck Bennett, like the voice cast is insane. Keith David ended up in the finale. It's insane.
It's awesome.
And so it made me think about, you know, like the TV shows that I grew up on. And so I thought that it would be fun today to talk about children's television and some of our favorite TV shows. Then you know, we could talk a little bit about the TV shows that are on now as well. I know you're a nanny in your day job, so I'm sure you'll have a lot to say on that. And then I'd love to hear if people are watching. I'd love to hear like the television shows from your childhood, early childhood, Saturday morning cartoons, teen years. You know, I still watch cartoons to this day, so I would be very curious to hear people's favorite cartoons from their youth. So you watch a lot of cartoons because you're a nanny, right?
Oh yeah, I watch tons of children's television, and a lot of the families that I used to sit for don't really let their kids watch TV, but almost thankfully it makes my job a bit easier. The family I watch for now allows a little bit, so I watch a lot of cartoons, and then I'm not mad about it.
I mean, I've been researching a lot of what's on these days in preparation for Ella. What are some of the shows that the kids you nanny for, like, what do they like to watch?
I'm just going to start out by saying that it is a crazy time to be a kid consuming media for the sheer amount of cartoons and children's television there is. It's amazing. Like when we were little, we obviously just had to watch what was on PBS, what was on Nickelodeon. But kids nowadays, they can stream whatever they want, whenever they want. And they can stream it over and over and over again, which can be, but that's beside the point. The kids, I'm watching a toddler right now, so we watch a lot of younger programming. One I know that's really popular, even with people my age right now, is Bluey. Bluey is great. What else have we watched? We're watching a lot of like foreign and translated cartoons, actually. There's this train show that the kid I sit loves called TT Po that I believe originated in Korea. I might be wrong. Today we watched a show with a name I couldn't even pronounce because it wasn't even subbed, or it wasn't subbed or dubbed. It was just like straight.
No, were they watching this on like YouTube?
Everything. Hulu, Netflix. I can't keep track of where these shows are. It's amazing.
Right. So my nieces and nephews like they watch like unboxing videos on YouTube of
Yep.
like
Watch
kid
plenty of those too.
YouTubers opening toys.
Uh-huh. I have watched plenty of those too. They're not my favorite.
Yeah,
But
it's
that is a
interesting.
big thing.
So I'm thinking to myself, like, do I have like, in order to like make Everyday with Ella like popular, do like I have to have Ella like opening toy like
Honestly, Maui?
like but like I don't want to do that. Like it just seems like a weird thing to do, like I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Miraculous. Do the kids you nanny for watch Miraculous?
I haven't heard of that.
I've never heard of it either.
Yeah, what's it about?
Yeah, what's it about, Virginia? So what did you grow up watching when you were a kid?
Our main channel growing up was Nickelodeon or Nick Jr. when we were really young. I remember Blue's Clues being my absolute favorite.
No, aren't there two different hosts from Blue's Clues? Which one is the good one? Which one's the bad one?
There's 3 hosts now because Blue's Clues was recently revived again.
Okay.
All the OG Blue Clues fans will say Steve is better than Joe, but that's not really fair to Joe.
Apparently, Miraculous is about superhero teens in Paris.
I have not seen that one, which is crazy because the kid I watch loves superhero stuff. We watch any vehicle that you can imagine, motorcycles, planes, emergency vehicles, construction vehicles have been made into superheroes in one way, and I've seen them all.
Yeah. Superhero teens in Paris sounds interesting. That sounds like I'm hoping it's like really weird and deconstructed, and like all the children are smoking, and it's in black and white, and just.
Oh yeah, I've
actually seen that
once. Yeah, it is.
I've actually seen that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want it to be like some like high art weird,
yeah.
Like Parisian cinema from the 60s, like really strange deconstructed stuff would be amazing. Darian said Steven Universe. So Darian, I recently watched all of Steven Universe, like during, I think, right stuff. That's during pandemic. I watched all that because I remember I was like messaging you like crazy as I was going through it.
Yes.
Yeah, I absolutely adore Steven Universe, and I'm actually hoping to like inject some of that DNA, the like non-binary DNA of Steven Universe into Ella, because like I just think that it was just so amazing how they present the characters and how they deal with gender and love on that show. I think it was really incredible, and just the unpacking of trauma. Like it is definitely a kid's show, but it also, I thought, spoke very deeply to me as an adult who has experienced trauma. So I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. Here's how big of a fan I am. Some amazing person got me this. It sits on my desk, so I look at it every day while I'm working. I have no idea it was anonymous. So
ask my bank account; they might know. On the topic of like just cartoons that are really enjoyable to watch as an adult, still, the kid I sit got me into Pokemon.
I love Pokemon.
I love Pokemon, and now I'm on like a quest to watch every single Pokemon episode ever. Maui, do you know how many episodes of Pokemon there are?
I mean, I just watched through like OG, like, was it Indigo episodes. I don't know if I ever got to what was the next one after that.
Orange Islands.
Yeah, I don't think I ever got to that. So.
According to my calculations, there are approximately 1,135 Pokemon episodes. I'm going to be watching this show forever. I'm on season 4, and I've been watching since March, like binging. But I love it. Super into Pokemon now.
So, Darian,
mindless.
Real quick. So, Darian, the Steven Universe movie takes place directly after Steven Universe, but then after that, there's also Steven Universe Future. So just so you know, yes, those gems are all, all female identifying. I believe they're supposed to be all female identifying. Avatar is another one. We're big Avatar fans.
Yes.
I have a hooded blanket with all the Avatar characters on it. Hey, what's up, Luis? Luis said, Ash didn't age once. No,
that's the funniest
very
thing.
much didn't.
This show is like over 20 years old, and there's a lot of continuity. Like, I'm impressed. So it'll be like, this bridge took a year to build. So there's a year between these two episodes. But don't worry, because Ash is still 10.
Right. Yeah. What about early childhood shows? Right. So talking about, as I'm like, working on Ella, like, what about like the old school, like when you were really, really little, like what's like the first shows you remember connecting with?
Well, I have to say kind of the obvious, which is Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
Love Sesame Street. And now as a grown-up still too. Very early memories of watching that. Like I said, Blue's Clues. Dora the Explorer. Dora the Explorer. What about you?
Sesame Street, right? Sesame Street is like older than me, right? Like Sesame Street has been on for so long and consistently, in the zeitgeist of like early childhood, education and entertainment. That's a big one for me. Mr. Rogers. I was a huge fan of Mr. Rogers. As a kid, I've been watching Daniel Tiger.
Yes.
And it's such and it very much, it's a very different show, but also at the same time has a very, very much, you feel the DNA, right? Of mindfulness and lovingness that from Mr. Rogers. Is a very gentle show. But yeah, Mr. Rogers was a big one for me. I remember just like the opening theme song, and I've since I was a little kid, I've been obsessed with theme songs. But that opening theme song is just so beautiful. And then when I found out that Mr. Rogers actually plays the piano for that, I was just like blown away. When my siblings, because I'm 6 years older than the next oldest sibling in my family, so when they were watching stuff like early childhood stuff, I was very much out of that realm. Like by the time they were like 3 and 4 and watching TV, I'm like 9, 10, and I'm the oldest of 8. So growing up with like the first 4 of us, I was still like a kid, but not between ages of like 6 and 15. They're watching these early childhood shows, and I watched Barney with them. I enjoyed Barney. I enjoyed the songs. I still remember like the Barney Bag song by heart. Like whenever they would do arts and crafts. You remember that one?
Yeah.
Do you remember it? Can you sing it?
No, my mom didn't really like Barney, so I had one Barney VHS that I watched on repeat, and that is the only Barney I was allowed to watch.
I see. Well, I've been looking in the Barney bag, and I found a lot of things: gizmos, gadgets, odds and ends, and even some old string.
Oh
so we
gosh.
asked ourselves the question: what can we make today with imagination in the Barney bag? We'll see what we can make today. Yeah, we'll see what we can make today.
You give me flashbacks.
I remember like all the songs, like they excellent songwriting on that show, like real simple, but just like earworms that just stick into your brain forever,
Yeah, they're coming back to me.
Yeah. Darian says Bugs Bunny. I loved Looney Tunes. Looking back at Looney Tunes though, Looney Tunes are not for kids. Like that's just like they're just doing like old school stand-up comedy. Like it's not for children, and it's super offensive. Like looking back, I'm like, oh, this does not age well. This does not hold up very well. But I do have a soft spot in my heart for the Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes crew. Zoom, I'm not familiar with Zoom. Yes, the violence problematic and the plot's lacking. Also just like a lot of like kind of racist depictions of characters on Looney Tunes as well. HR Puff and stuff. So that was around, I believe, when I was a kid, or maybe when my siblings were kids. I never really watched that one. I never really got into that one too much. I was really big into Fat Albert. Reruns of that were on when I was a little kid. Also strangely watched a lot of just like adult sitcoms when I was a kid.
Same.
Right, like I grew up watching Cheers
Friends.
for some reason. Well, Friends. I was grown when Friends was out, but it's fine.
It's fine.
Age difference. Land of the Lost. Land of the Lost is awesome. Yes, I loved Land of the Lost. Davy and Goliath. I don't remember Davy and Goliath. It sounds familiar, but I don't remember it. I have to look it up. So the early childhood shows that you connected with, what, like, and I asked this to all of you watching as well. What made you connect to them? Like for me, I was a super sensitive kid. And for me, like the reason like Mr. Rogers is kind of number one in my memory is because he focused so much on feelings and how you feel, and it was okay to feel things, and that was a big deal for me. Especially I had a dad that was like, I have a dad who's very manly and and not really a feelings person, right? So we couldn't communicate on that like emotional level. I went to my mother for that kind of emotional validation. And Mr. Rogers was a male figure that was there for me in that capacity, right? So like that's why, like, as an adult looking back, like that's always been number one in my mind. So what about for you, Steph? Like what's something that like you really connected with as a child, and why?
It's hard for me to say exactly, but I think a big thing for me was having something I could enjoy with my little brother. And Blue's Clues was really that for us. It was kind of something that was age appropriate for both of us. We're only 2.5 years apart, but we both loved that show. We would, play Blue's Clues, write clues for each other, that kind of stuff. So I think for me, the shows I connected with the most were about, connecting with my family as well, watching these shows as a collective.
Mm-hmm. Luis is saying Speedy Gonzalez and Slowpoke Rodriguez, one of the first times I saw a Hispanic hero. So that's very interesting. Now, Luis, as an adult, how do you feel about those characters now as an adult? Because I think looking back at them, they don't hold up necessarily as strongly. And these are white men, doing very caricature, Mexican accents. What do you? I'm very curious to know what do you think about those characters now as opposed to like when you were a kid? And I feel the same way about like a lot of things like that. But then, so like I love them and have nostalgia in my brain for them. But then on the other side of my brain, but the activist in me is like, but also this is problematic. So like those are two things that I have to like kind of reconcile. And like I have to name, like, even though I love this thing, that it is problematic, and like so like I won't necessarily I won't advertise it that I'm watching it, or I won't put it out there because I don't want to like unintentionally cause someone pain by naming that thing or amplifying that thing. I'll just kind of watch it in silence, on certain things. So I'm very curious what your relationship was with that now, Luis. Virginia says, I relied a lot on formula and predictability in shows as a kid. I wanted to know there was a resolution. That's interesting. A lot of shows, right, give you that formula, like you're gonna like get the lesson at the end. I found that interesting as I've been writing Ella. How does the lesson present itself? How does she learn? We are not perfect beings. Children are not perfect beings. Children have meltdowns. Children fail just as much as they succeed. So, but how do we make sure that we're learning something from that moment? So, like for example, in the second episode that I've written of Everyday with Ella, so in the first half of the show, she's afraid of the dark, and her Papa teaches her a song called "Keep Your Light Shining Bright," and it's a song that she can sing to herself when she's afraid. Right. And in the second half of that, she is afraid of trying to go and talk to these new kids, right? They're having like a housewarming party, and she tries to do the song, but then she fails. And I didn't write it that way at first. And I was talking to a friend about it, a neighbor of mine, and I was describing the episode. She's like, "That's really great, but you know what would be interesting is she fails." And so I actually had her where she tries to sing the song, and then she doesn't. It doesn't work, right? She still fails to engage with the kids, but one of the other kids come and engage her, right? And they are nice to her, and so while she was afraid to approach them, someone came to her, and so so there is still a resolution there, but it's not necessarily of her doing it at all times, right? It's all, sometimes someone else has to extend a hand, so I found that interesting. So there's a formula, but it's not necessarily predictable all the time, but there is always a resolution. So that's interesting. You say you relied a lot on formula and predictability, because I'm trying to think about like repetitive structures for kids, right? Don't try and write Tenet, don't try and write, Inception for children, right? Like make it, simple and just connect to people on very simple levels. So that's very interesting. Luis said, has a tattoo of Slowpoke because he reminded me of one of my uncles. Very interesting. Very interesting. I don't know what my mom is saying here. Hope is dope, even if unreal. Hi, Mom. First of all, Mom, I don't know what that means. I mean, hope is dope. But is hope unreal? I don't know. This is a very deep sentence, and I'd love to unpack this with you sometime. Darian says it's the Disney Paradox 2.0. Love it, remember it, but it's toxic. That's a lot of Disney movies like that. So when we did our remember when we did our Disney movie bracket, and I was just like, how are people voting this through? Yeah, like I have nostalgia for it, but if I'm objectively looking at this piece of art next to this piece of art, this piece of art's way less problematic just by virtue of being created in the last few years, and we've learned so much about how we depict people and the agency that we give female characters, because a lot of those are with female leads. But if you look at like Snow White, who's completely kind of useless and doesn't have much agency in her film, versus Moana, who is like this like amazing feminist character. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Okay, let's move forward in time a little bit. So you got out of the early childhood, like, and you started watching like your Saturday morning cartoons, kind of era, where you kind of have more agency, more choice in what you're going to watch. You have taste developing. You're out of the Blues Clues. You're out of the swipe or no swiping phase of your life, and you get to wanting to watch things that you enjoy. How did that evolve for you? What did you start getting into?
Well, for a long time in my life, Nickelodeon was the only channel I knew of. Don't know why. So some of the shows that were my favorites were like Spongebob, of course, was super big when I was growing up. Fairly Odd Parents was really big in our house. What was I just thinking? Oh, Avatar came out when I was a preteen. Rugrats. I loved Rugrats.
I was a big Rugrats fan.
Rugrats is great, and it aged
Rugrats
well.
awesome. It's coming back.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But again, for me, and you know what I just thought of while we were talking? The whole era of Nickelodeon that was like the Amanda Show, all that, like the kind of like sketch comedy shows for kids. And all of these shows are very tightly tied in my memory to shows that my parents also enjoyed, shows that we could all watch together. We used to have like popcorn movie nights where we'd all sit down and watch all that and the Amanda Show. So the shows that we could share together, again, became my favorite ones.
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because now I'm seeing a line between that and how you interact with fandom today, because you always say like your favorite thing about fandom is the community. And you were doing that as a kid too, so that's very
oh my gosh, this is just like therapy.
Yeah. My mother explained, sometimes we just need hope, not always the answer, simply the possibility hope provides. Oh, all right, Mama. So she must have been talking about in reference to the story I was talking about from Ella, I think. That's what she's saying. Powerpuff Girls is an incredible show, Virginia. I love Powerpuff Girls. I'm super weirded out that there's going to be a live action grown up version of Powerpuff Girls, and I kind of don't want it to happen. Just saying. Wild Thornberries, yes. They crossed over with Rugrats. Just saying.
Great movie.
Eric and I are 4 days apart in age. Unfortunately, he's older. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Real Ghostbusters for sure. That's like definitive, like our childhood, especially Turtles. Oh my gosh. Real Ghostbusters is great as well. I'm trying to remember, there's a weird piece of trivia around the voice for Venkman is also like that guy's like made a career out of like being like the voice, the television voice version of Bill Murray. So he plays, Bill Murray plays Venkman on the movie. He plays Venkman on the TV show. But I'm pretty sure that same voice actor also is the voice of Garfield. And then Bill Murray ended up being the voice of Garfield in the movie version. So like there's like this weird like symbiotic nature between those two actors.
That's so funny.
All of that, yes, as you mentioned, yeah. Kenan and Kel, which is amazing, and I love that like Kenan has like literally been doing sketch comedy like nearly his entire life.
Yeah, for real.
Which is pretty incredible. Dexter's Lab. Dexter's Lab is great. Cow and Chicken, awesome. All that we mentioned. Okay, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
All of the game shows. All of the Nickelodeon game shows.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
What else is there? Double Dare. Lime Time. Figure It Out. Oh my gosh.
Double Dare, and then there was Family Double Dare.
Yes.
I wanted to go on Double Dare so bad. I wanted to get slimed so bad when I was a kid. No, and the slime started with it was a sketch comedy show in like the early 90s, like late 80s, early 90s, and I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. But they did all sorts of silly little gags, and there was one gag where they would say something that would trigger slime getting poured on you. I can't remember the name of it now, and it's going to drive me crazy. If anybody can remember the name of it, it was amazing. Ed, and Eddie was also awesome. So many people remembering all that, giving all that love. I love it. I wish that the Proud Family was on when I was a kid, because like I'm here for like a Black family, like cartoons that come. Just saying. So Invader Zim, I love Invader Zim, but Invader Zim is something that I fell in love with as an adult. Like I was a full grown man, but when that came out, it might have started when I was in high school actually, but like it's very much felt more adult. Pinky and the Brain and Animaniacs. Yeah. Tales from the Crypt. That's not a kid show. You talking about the Are You Afraid of the Dark, Luis? Is that the one you're talking about?
Oh my gosh, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I think that's what he's talking about. Speed Racer. My mom said Speed Racer. I love like the cheesy like 70s Speed Racer cartoons. They are amazing. What else, man? There's a cartoon version of Tales from the Crypt. That's weird. Who did that? Cocaine must have been involved. Oh, I did not know that. So Keenan and Kel apparently are now writing for the current version of all that. That's amazing. This was one of my favorites, and this is one of my first big like crushes. Clarissa explained it all. Melissa Joan Hart, had a big crush on her as a kid. Her and Larissa Oleynik, who was on The Adventures of Alex Mack. I don't know if anybody remembers Adventures of Alex Mack. That was amazing. Did you watch that one?
That was I have very, very, very vague memories.
Oh, so
that
good.
And Clarissa Explains It All were kind of before my time.
I highly recommend, if you can find it, like go back and watch it. It's so funny. Salute Your Shorts. Yes. Do you remember Salute Your Shorts? That was a 90s one. That might be a little bit before your time. And it was like more for like teenagers, like preteens.
Oh, yeah.
It was 90s. Had a great theme song. There's Camp Anawana. We hold you in our hearts. And when we think about you, and then the jerk kid goes, it makes me want to fart. And then the camp director, the camp counselor guy goes, I hope we never part. Now sing it right or pay the price. It's so funny. Let's see. Darian's agreeing with my mother, saying go Speed Racer. Cartoon Network made, that is so weird. The Cartoon Network made a cartoon version of Tales from the Crypt.
Cartoon Network has some weird shows on it, let's be real.
I do not know Guts and Global Guts.
That was another game show.
I don't know that one. That must have been a little bit afterwards. So apparently me and Virginia were singing the song at the same time, the Salute Your Shorts. Yes. Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about theme songs now, what are some favorite theme songs, people? I want to hear like the theme songs of your youth that you loved. What you got, Stephanie?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Come back to me.
You're like the only one here because Kat Damish is not here. She must have got caught in traffic.
I mean, I'm just thinking of all of the shows. They're just. It's crazy because the kids nowadays, they skip right through the theme songs.
The kids these days.
These kids these days, they won't be quite as ingrained in our memories, I think, as ours are.
American Gladiators for Nickelodeon. Love it. Eric said DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, and the whole Disney afternoon, really. Okay, so let's talk about the new DuckTales a bit. Because the new DuckTales, not only is it DuckTales, Darkwing Duck is on it, Rescue Rangers turn up, Tailspin shows up. It is the Disney afternoon. And okay, if people are watching DuckTales, spoilers for the finale. It's an Easter. It's kind of like a little Easter egg that they do that blew my mind when it happened. But there's this man horse called Manny that's headless, and it's just like a bust of Scrooge McDuck's head has been on it the entire time, and somehow it gets the ability to talk, and it's Keith David's voice, which I'm like, what is happening? Why is Keith David the voice of this thing? And then the head gets knocked off, and then the horse says, I have to do something that I haven't done in a very long time, and then grows like a horse head and then wings. And then the theme song for Disney's Gargoyles starts to play, which is one of my favorite, like all-time favorite cartoons.
Oh my gosh.
And he goes, I live again. And I'm like, oh my God, they even threw in a Gargoyles nod. It was absolutely incredible. Just saying. Just saying. And also it's just like the best show ever, and Webby Vanderquack is like the best character. Like she is like, if speaking in Avatar terms for you Avatar fans out there, Webby Vanderquack is like Iroh
Nice.
from Avatar, like that level of like perfect character writing. Just saying. American Gladiators for Nickelodeon. They did a kid version of American Gladiators on Nickelodeon, and it was awesome. But it wasn't called American Gladiators. It was called something else. I don't remember what it was. The youth group I was in high school, we made like versions of like the American. We did the joust. We had the tennis ball launcher and all that. So absolutely. What's second to the Animaniacs theme? DuckTales? Is that what you're saying? Because DuckTales is.
No, we were talking about theme songs.
No, because that was after. So Eric said best TV theme song, DuckTales. And then he's saying second to Animaniacs theme. It must have been what I was thinking, maybe Salute Your Shorts. I'm not sure. Tiny Toon Adventures. I'd love the Tiny Toon Adventures theme song. Do you know that one, Steph? Oh, it's so good. We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony, and then this cartoony, we're invading your TV.
Oh yeah.
Just saying. Come on now. Come on. Batman the Animated Series. Yes. How could I forget about that animated series? It's so good. It's so good. And they did a movie version called Mask of the Phantasm. And it starts off with like this like opera version of the theme song to Batman. And it's the best. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. We crack up the censors. I love it. Yeah. So what? Come on, give me some theme song stuff. Give me some theme song love. There is a reboot for Animaniacs. It's on Hulu, Darian.
The SpongeBob theme song and
you have to sing it.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Don't give me a
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Zooming in yellow and porous is he.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
If nautical nonsense be something you wish.
Is it still just SpongeBob SquarePants? Who wrote this song?
Then drop on the deck and flip like a fish.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob
That's
SquarePants.
a weird show.
SpongeBob SquarePants, but it's still like it's so ingrained, especially in my age. I will quote SpongeBob without even thinking about it, and then I won't even realize that I'm quoting SpongeBob. Like it's that was like such an impactful show. I feel for people my age, simply because it was just hilarious. And
who said that they used the SpongeBob theme for running cadence in the army? That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme.
That is a theme song. Yeah.
That's a banger. That's a banger right there.
Uh-huh.
SpongeBob was for grown-ups. SpongeBob was a weird show, man. That's a weird one.
So much.
Yeah. And so that's the last thing I want to make sure to say is that the best children's shows are the shows that I can still enjoy now, like the ones that are like endure through the years. I can still watch them as an adult and enjoy them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can still watch like Mr. Rogers to this day. I can still watch Sesame Street to this day. They're all just so well written that it's really not just like a kid show. I mean, it's written with kids at the center of it, at the heart of it, but they're not written in a way that talks down to children. You know, they don't talk down to anybody, so like really anybody can enjoy them. There's other I think kid shows that look at kids like idiots and just put mindless drivel on the screen. Also, how come everybody hates Caillou so much?
Fuck Caillou, and you know what else? Which show that's on now that I can't stand? Umizoomi. That's like one that just like it teaches like shapes and numbers and shit, but I can't stand it. I have like a personal vendetta against Umizoomi. I don't know if anyone watching has seen it.
How come whenever you invoke the name Caillou, it just enrages people? It's amazing.
I don't remember hating it growing up, but having watched it a few times as an adult, yeah, it's the worst.
Louis said, I think because of some of the adult humor, Animaniacs was notorious for that. Animaniacs, yeah, had some just amazing humor that like I was not even aware of just like how good the jokes were until I was older and able to truly appreciate them. Bubble Guppies.
Bubble Guppies. Oh my gosh. The Bubble Guppy songs always get stuck in my head, which is the worst. I feel you.
What the heck is Bubble Guppies?
There's a bunch of weird mermaid children with a fish teacher, and they all have like three faces. It's weird.
So Eric just said favorite lesser known cartoon theme, Super Chicken. Do you know Super Chicken?
Was that a Nickelodeon show?
Mm-mm. This is like a weird thing from like the probably like late 70s, early 80s about a super chicken, and the theme song is hysterical. We're probably gonna stop broadcasting on Facebook just because like I can't play anything on Facebook without it like taking it like muting us or taking us down. YouTube is way more lax for that, so we're probably just gonna start streaming exclusively on YouTube and not on Facebook anymore. But so we'll do an episode where we're just gonna like go through a bunch of cartoon theme songs.
That sounds good.
And once we're off the air, I'll play it for you because Super Chicken is hysterical. Like the theme song, like it's a whole mood.
Okay.
Yeah. Eric says it was from the creator of Rocky and Bullwinkle. Yes, which that's another one that I used to love was Rocky and Bullwinkle. Another one that once again has a lot of humor that goes right over a kid's head. Right? It's still like funny and bright and colorful and silly, so kids connect to it, and the stories are good and whatnot. But like they're not writing comedy like we're gonna write comedy for some 2-year-old. They're writing comedy for adults, which is great. I do not know what Miraculous is. Is that After My Time, Virginia?
That's the show that we were looking at earlier.
Which one? Is that the Parisian superheroes smoking in the rain? Exactly. I'm just convinced. Luis, The Adventures of Pete and Pete, not just the theme song, but like all the music is absolutely incredible. It's like peak 90s, like alt rock. It is amazing. Oh, and that theme song is fantastic. But there's like a whole album of, it's all the same band too, and I'm blanking on their name off the top of my head right now, but it is absolutely incredible. So excellent call. So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I got. Anything you want to say? Anything else you want to say about the children's television shows that shaped your life?
Oh man, I could go on and on, but I won't. Could also go on and on about the shows nowadays that I can't stand, but I won't.
Yes, Luis. Oh, Polaris. Thank you, Luis. It's Polaris. Now I'm going to listen to Polaris songs like all night tonight. That makes me happy.
But yeah, what about you, Maui?
I don't really have too much more to say about it. I will just end with like a little like update on just like some of the stuff that I'm working on right now, and then also some of the stuff that you're working on. So coming up next weekend, Echo and Reverb Ensemble has its first play in a very long time. It is called The Living by Anthony Clairvaux.
You want to see this song? Go.
You want to see what?
I got part of my costume today.
Oh, okay.
Tell them a summary first.
So it's a very light and funny play about it's a drama about people surviving through the plague, and what is happening? Oh my gosh, that's terrifying. Thanks for that.
Isn't it perfect?
I am not okay. I am not okay with this.
I'm obsessed with it.
Wait, put it back on.
Hey, come see The Living. We're streaming live.
Can you see in that?
Barely. I have to like turn my head like this, like.
Oh, that's kind of badass, actually. You need
I'm,
like a hood with it.
I have the hood, but it's hard to get on, so I'm not putting it on
Okay.
right now.
But yeah, it's just it's about people surviving through, plague era London. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
yeah, we're working really hard on it. It's going really well. We have a great director.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just as far as virtual plays go, it's great, and I'm very excited. We have a great cast.
She said, "That is so. Don't leave us in suspense, Darian. That's so Raven.
I've got this hat.
You see what I did there? That's so Raven. No big deal.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh yeah, I see what you did there.
It works on multiple levels. It's fine. Also, I have a Kickstarter going right now for the first 3 Ella books. We've already raised almost $11,000. Thank you. This week is double donation week, double pledge week, I should say. So any pledge you make, we have an anonymous benefactor that is donating dollar for dollar up to $5,000 this week. We're about 1,000 of the way through that. We would like to see it get up to 5,000. So please do help us share and spread the word. Also,
exactly does that go through? Is that Friday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Okay.
Sunday. So Sunday will be the last day for double donation week. Also, just updated the Kickstarter about an hour or two ago. Now that we are as deep in as we are, we're confident that we're going to be able to produce the second and third book. So tiers just went up for the second and third Ella book. The second book is called Hey Night Sky, and it's a whimsical story about generational love. That's what I will say about that one. And experience with Ella is going to be an intersectional, radically inclusive activity book. And so that's what I'll say. There'll be a lot of, fun things to do, and scavenger hunt stuff and all that. But it will be with also teaching kids about true histories and centering children of color, centering children of different ability levels, making sure that there are activities for all kids, not just for some kids. So those are the 3 books. So that just went up, and there's a tier to get the Ella library. So that's all 3 books plus the coloring book, because there is a coloring book tier on there. So technically we're doing 4 books. So we have a coloring book, and then we have the Hey Night Sky, we have Hi, I'm Ella, and Experience with Ella. So there's like 4 books that you can get overall. So please do check that out. If you're interested in knowing more, I'm more than happy to talk you through it and show you kind of the whole scope of everything, how it's going to work with the book line, with the television show, and then once the world is truly back to normal, the live theatrical experience that we would like to do using South American theater of the oppressed techniques to teach kids in real time problem solving, and to talk about issues of like bullying and sharing and things like that. It's really cool. It'll be like you'll see a scene play out in front of your eyes, and it goes poorly. Like Ella does not do a good job sharing, and then we freeze the scene, and then we talk to the kids and say, "What can we do differently here?" And the kids will throw out suggestions on how she could have handled the situation better, and then the scene will replay, but it will replay using the suggestions from the kids, and so they get to see their problem solving skills play out in real time in front of their eyes. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, so there you go. So those are my updates. I want to thank everybody for watching today. Tune in next week. We will be talking about our favorite Disney songs, and we currently have 4 playlists up, because it's a 4 division 64 song all out battle for best Disney song of all, or sorry, dopest Disney song of all time. We have the villain division, the I want division, the love division, and the showstoppers, bangers, and bops division. So there's 4 playlists. They're on Spotify and Apple, and you can listen to all of them. And so when you vote, you're not just voting for the nostalgia bomb. I want you to really listen to the songs, and say which one you think is a better song. That I'm sure that people will inevitably just kind of vote with like what they love more, but like I'm really going to try and listen to it objectively. I'm going to try and turn off the nostalgia part of my brain and listen to the songs and just try and judge them on their own merits and not judge them by how much real estate they have rent free in my head.
Good luck.
Eric, Flash Bros.
More in Supernatural.
Yes, that is Supernatural. Yes, Darian, Spotify. It's a streaming app, music streaming app that you can listen to music on. So if you, I believe I have it pinned on the dope page. And there's links to all 4 playlists on Spotify and links to all 4 playlists on Apple Music. Louis said Hunchback, Hellfire. Hellfire is on the villain list. Louis, Hellfire is on the villain list.
That is a song.
It is a song, but it shares real estate with Quasimodo's song. Like it's not just Hellfire by itself. You have to listen to like Quasimodo's song, which is like more of an I want type of song. It's interesting. Yeah, very interesting. Anywho, that's it. Thank you all for watching and for all your wonderful comments. We will see you next week when we are talking Disney music. We'll have a nice, really fun Heaven's Light. Thank you, Eric. Heaven's Light is what shares with it. We'll have a panel. We'll have Eric, who helped me put the brackets together, help me like pick the songs. I'm still figuring out the seeding. The seeds will be announced on Monday. I think Monday will be the first 8 matches in. I think I'm going to kick it off with probably the villain division will kick us off, is what I'm thinking, and then we'll move on to the other divisions. So I don't know how long it's going to take because I've never done one this size. So we'll see how long it takes. But every day we'll do another division, and then we'll do the next rounds. Yeah, so it should be interesting. We'll experience it together. I think it might end up taking 2 weeks, so we shall see. For the glory of all Creed Luis. All right, y'all, stay dope. Good night.
Bye.